All right, so part 3 of this review is going to be all about Professor X, Moira McTaggart, Magneto, and Quicksilver. We'll see if I can try to smash all these characters into one. I'll be a little light on Moira and Quicksilver, but obviously Charles and Eric are going to be the meat and potatoes of this video. So, Professor X. I once again feel like the role, played by James McAvoy was well acted and utilized as usual. It was nice to see the professor in his element this time around. He already went through what he went through in Days of Future Past of like the self-doubt and the whole, oh, I'm not fit to be, a teacher, an administrator, all this kind of things. But now, like, he has his shit together. The school is running. He's got his students, and he's like doing what he's doing. He's in a better place, and it's fun to see him, closer to where we know and love him as. That being said, it was really refreshing to see him, be like really happy to see Moira and like, the whole, oh, I want to check her out. Oh, check out the situation. It was really cute. And everything having to do with Moira was really cute. I love romantic Charles. I also feel like his relationship with Eric, like I mentioned in my last video, is their chemistry is just off the charts. I don't understand how I don't understand how anyone could see that subtext and just ignore it and like not see like the obvious love between these two people. I could definitely see them being together. I definitely wouldn't even kick Moira out. Like, they could be poly. I feel like Charles, Eric, and Moira could be poly. Just like I really feel like Ray, Poe Dameron, and Ray, Poe Dameron, and Finn could be poly in Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Like, why not? I feel like, yes, I'd be down for that. But anyway, I thought that the professor was well handled in this movie. Once again, James McAvoy did not fail to deliver. And unlike Jennifer Lawrence, this time she utterly failed for me. But McAvoy delivered once again, and I really, really, really loved the astral plane battle between him and Apocalypse in this movie. I thought that it was everything that I would have ever wanted in an astral plane on the big screen. The astral plane is a very big deal in the X-Men comics, especially dealing with telepathic characters like Charles, like Jean, Emma Frost, Psylocke. The Shadow King lives there. That's his domain, but he obviously wasn't in this movie. It's Apocalypse. But yeah, like telepathic characters, the astral plane is a very big deal. It was one of the major stages in the first X-Men Legends game, which is one of my favorite games ever. I fucking love that game. And it's usually like one of the only places that Charles can walk again while still being a telepath. So it was really amazing. I really loved, the whole "you're in my house" thing, like him manipulating the environment. That's like what the astral plane is all about. And I love it. I love telepaths. I love telepathy and like these kinds of things. And it was just such a treat to see for someone who's such a fan of like telepaths and like telepathic mutants and everything like that. Like I loved it. It was amazing for me. And it was a really great use of the professor and what he can do, because one of the things that like that could definitely be said about the professor as opposed to like Magneto or Mystique is that usually with his telepathy, his power isn't as cool or as visual as like Mystique's shapeshifting or like Magneto's metal manipulation, everything like that. Like, the telepathy is usually just like, oh, he makes people do stuff. He like knows what you're thinking. Like, but like here, like you see something like really cool with it, and it's just amazing. I love it. It was so cool. One minor thing that I kind of was just kind of was the way he went bald. The whole like, oh, the essence of Apocalypse going into his body made his hair fall out. I'm like, so that's why he goes bald? To be honest, I don't remember how he goes bald in the comics. I think, actually, I think I do. I think it happened when he was a child. I don't know if, I think like Jean, when he was a child, he developed his telepathy when he was younger. Usually like the more powerful mutants develop their powers in their younger years in life. Usually like typically mutants in the X-Men develop their powers during puberty, like probably like around like 13, 14 and above. But like major mutants like Charles and like Jean develop their powers earlier, and that's how you know they're going to be like more powerful. But anyway, I think that's what happened with Charles. He developed his powers like during school, and like it was the telepathy and everything like that somehow made it so that like his hair fell out. But yeah, it was because of the magnitude of his powers and everything like that caused his hair to fall out. And so he had been bald pretty much his whole life. But in these movies, you know, he had these luscious locks. Oh my gosh, I remember that moment in Days of Future Past when it was like it was right during the part where like Mystique had beat up those guys in that conference room and like Bolivar Trask was there, and then like Wolverine was like going through his like flashing forward and everything like that to Stryker, and like seeing the past one like was triggering the thing, and he was like looking at Charles and like he got up and like he swung his hair back and his hair, just those luscious locks just went back. I was just like, God damn, he's so nice to look at. I'm like, oh, there's so many fine mutants in here. I'm so about it. And that car ride was everything too. It was like Eric, Michael Fassbender, James McAvoy as Charles Xavier, Nicholas Hoult as Beast, and fucking Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. I'm like, why are there 4 hotties in here? I just don't understand. There's like no women either. I'm like, damn. Like it's just all hotness. Not that women can't be hot, but you know me, I'm all about the dudes. Anyway, back on point. Charles did not fail to deliver. He definitely brought it. I was definitely for it. His acting, of course, was on point. And unlike Jennifer Lawrence, he seems to enjoy his role. He seems like, you know, he's definitely on board to play this character. And I would really hope that he continues, even if, like, other cast members don't come back. I would love for him to come back. Although I'm also very excited to see Patrick Stewart come back as Professor Xavier, because he was also a really good, honest to God Professor Xavier throughout those original movies and in Days of Future Past. I've always loved Patrick Stewart, you know. So, on to Moira McTaggart. I love Rose Byrne. I really, really love Rose Byrne. That being said, Moira McTaggart has been one of her more boring roles for me. I feel like Rose Byrne really thrives in comedic roles, especially like in Bridesmaids. Oh my god, so hilarious. And Neighbors. I didn't see Neighbors 2 yet. Oh my god, I want to though. But I did. But in the first Neighbors movie, she stole the show. Like she was the best thing about that movie. Like I loved Rose Byrne. Oh my god. Let me see. Yes. And also in the Insidious movie, she was really good there too in horror. But in this particular genre, with this particular character, even though they tried to make her more interesting by making her a CIA agent and everything like that, and she can like shoot a gun and stuff, I just feel like she's so boring. Like she just never has anything to do. I low-key feel like she would be more interesting if she was like the genetic like mutant researcher on like Muir Island and stuff, and if she had her like Scottish accent, or if she couldn't be Scottish. I think Rose Byrne might be actually. Is she English? Is she English? I think she might be English, something like that. Like even then, like it could have been, I don't know, but I guess they wanted to differentiate her from Charles more, so they made that she has an American accent and she's American in the movies. I was very pleased to see that her son exists. She definitely had her son, who, if I'm right, and if they're like going the route of like the comics in this instance, his name should be Kevin McTaggart, and he either is or will be the mutant known as Proteus. He's like a major badass villain with like these really badass, crazy, like reality warping powers, who's like really tough. And he's like, I think mentally unstable, and he like fights the X-Men, and it's a bunch of shit. So hopefully that may go down here with like Proteus. I would love to see that. I feel like her relationship with Charles is very endearing. Even though she's boring, I love her relationship with Charles. I love them together. It was so cute at the end when he restored her memories. I didn't know he could do that, like give them back. I thought that like once you erase them, they're kind of gone, but it was nice. Like maybe they were just dormant or something. Like Yeah, that was really sweet. Um, However, one minor criticism about Moira in this movie is the way we are introduced, or like, rather reintroduced to her character when she's wearing the I believe it's called a hijab, a hijab. But when she's wearing the thing, it immediately made me think of Dust, the Muslim mutant from she first appeared in Grant Morrison's run of New X-Men, and then she appeared in like the other New X-Men run, in which she's a member of the team, and she kind of like has a clash with Surge. But she's a Muslim mutant who has the ability to turn herself into like this this like dust cloud that she can like move and like manipulate, and she can like create like a dust storm and like sear like the flesh off people and shit like that. Like it could be that she can like suffocate people, she can like move into like keyholes. Like it's a really badass power. She's really awesome. I really love her. I think her real name is Soraya. I can't pronounce her last name. I know how to spell it, but I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't want to try. I might have already mispronounced the garment that she wears, and I feel bad about that. I need to like look into these things. But I was really upset that they had her wear that. Like it couldn't even just be like a head thing only, or like a cape or something. Like I'm like, it's such an obvious thing. I'm like, wow, just that was so just damn it. You could tell through the eyes though. If you've seen Rose Byrne in a lot of movies like I have, like you could tell immediately that it was her. But it was just the outfit made you think of Dust, and I thought that was such a fake out. I'm like, god damn it, that was damn. But otherwise, you know, I didn't have many problems with Moira. She served a purpose, she served a role. I liked her mostly for her involvement with Charles, and I definitely look forward to their relationship in the future. I don't know if she'll be the mother of Legion, because I know Legion is supposed to be getting his own show. In the comics, Legion is the son of Charles Xavier and Gabrielle Haller. She's a human woman. She's Jewish, I believe, and Charles is Charles Xavier, Professor X. Before he became Professor X, before he became a teacher, he had been involved with Gabrielle Haller, and he used his powers to like help her in a situation because I think it might have been because was it the Holocaust or it was something where she was like in a coma, I think, and he like used his powers to help bring her out, and they fell in love and they got married and they had a child, and that child was David Haller, who became this mutant known as Legion, because he has like a bunch of split personalities, and each personality has a different power, and it's like really cool. And he has this like really crazy hair. It's like, you know, it low-key reminds you of like Harold from Hey Arnold, but it's, you know, more straight, like not, you know, kinky hair. But yeah, awesome character. And he's going to be getting his own show. So I don't know if he'll be the child of Charles and Moira instead of Charles and Gabrielle. We'll see. And then we, of course, have Magneto. Magneto always is interesting, no matter what movie he's in. And this movie, this has to have been one of the best character development moments for Magneto that I've ever seen in media outside of comics. It was definitely one of the best moments of the movie. You know, his whole opening sequence with the near beginning with his family, and the emotional turmoil of that. Fassbender delivered. He brought all of the emotions and the emotional range and everything like that. All those beats were perfect, spot on. I was very much here for it all. I have like some theories about like his family and everything like that, because obviously I stuck around for the credits, so I read like the casting notes, and I figured out that his wife's name in the movie is Magda, who is in the comics was the mother of his first child, their first child, Anya. And then Anya was a mutant. Well, she probably would have been mutant, but she was a small child when she died. So that was like pretty much straight out of the comics, the death of his daughter. But in the movie, it was both him and Magda it was both the child and the mother who died right away. Whereas in the comics, they had Anya first. Anya died, but then later on, or it was in the situation that Anya died because I guess his village had figured out that he was a mutant. He didn't have a reputation as Magneto yet, but they knew he was a mutant and they were afraid of him and they were doing a bunch of shit. And a fire broke out at his home, and Magda and Eric were outside, and Anya was still inside. I think she's like upstairs in her room, and the flames were like all around her. And the mob prevented Eric from going in to save her, and she burned to death. That's how she died in the comics, and it was just her. It wasn't also Magda, it was just her. And this event caused Magneto to lash out with his powers, and he killed the mob, and this was like the really first beginning of like his hatred for humanity, aside from everything he went through with like the Holocaust and everything like that. And in the comics, he and Magda were both victims of the Holocaust. He was a German Jew, I think, but Jewish, and then she was a Romani Jew. I don't want to use the G word. I know you. I'm trying to like clue you in on what it is because I know now, definitely now, that it's offensive to use this word. But basically, think of Esmeralda from A Hunchback of Notre Dame, and what word comes to mind when you think of her. But she was that kind of Jew. Like she was a Romani Jew, but the proper term is Romani, as I found out playing Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, unfortunately. But now I know. But yeah, a Romani Jew. But they fell in love there, and they escaped together, and they got married and had Anya, and their life was cool until that situation happened. When he killed the mob, she fled because she was afraid. Because I don't know if she was afraid because he was a mutant, or she was afraid because he killed all these people without remorse. But she fled while pregnant with the twins of Pietro and Wanda, who would become Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. And then after she gave birth to them, she like fled again into like the cold, and then she died, presumably died because she was never seen again. But that's like how it goes down there. Now here in this opening sequence, this whole thing was so beautiful. And like the way he cried, the way he sobbed, it was just so heartbreaking and like pathetic to a degree that it was like just a man who's just like mourning for his child. Pathetic to a way that you felt for him. Not pathetic to a way where like, oh, I pity you. But it was like, oh my God, I feel for you. Like the way he cried and the way he sobbed. I was just like, oh, poor baby. Oh, he's looking so right too. I'm like, throughout all of this, oh, he's looking so right. God damn it. I know I have problems. I'm sorry. But no, it's true. He's a looker. But anyway, he had some of the best character development in this movie because of that sequence, and then his revenge afterwards with the locket, and then going to the steel place because they're the ones who called the cops on him in the first place. And I'm like, that's bitchy. He saves your life, and that's what you do. It wasn't even a situation where like he just got exposed simply, like he only got exposed. He didn't actually save anyone, or he like hurt somebody. I could see if he actually hurt somebody, but no, he saved your life, and that's how you repay him. Wow. And it was really cool when like Apocalypse killed them all instantly by like phasing them through the ground, basically using Kitty Pryde's power without touching them. That was like awesome. Let's see. Oh yeah, and I'm really it makes me wonder about Quicksilver's family, but I'll talk about that more when I go into Quicksilver. So the daughter, the daughter's name in this movie is Nina for some reason. I don't think that this daughter was Wanda. I don't think that she's supposed to be Scarlet Witch. This girl clearly had the ability to communicate with animals and maybe low-key control them with like the birds and everything like that. And like her friend was like the deer. Obviously she could communicate with animals. I believe that this child was Anya, basically. Like she was this movie's version of Anya, especially since she died. That's what I think. One minor gripe that I have about the opening sequence, and which was flawless otherwise, was the way that Anya and Magda died. It was one arrow that pierced through her and also Magda, and the dude it wasn't even like he held it like this. It was like not even like fully, and it was an accident. Like, it was an accident, but like, it wasn't even fully out. It should not. I personally feel like it should not have been able to pierce both of them like that. I'm like, this isn't Hawkeye. This is not fucking Green Arrow. This was not a super arrow. This was he was not like doing the Katniss like I'm about to get you kind of thing. Like, it was like, ooh, oops. Like, if anything, it would have killed Nina because it hit her first. But like, I just don't think it would have killed Magda. But whatever. Maybe it was like a super shock. And it wasn't even metal. Like, okay. Let's see. Another thing too. One other gripe. I feel, once Apocalypse recruited him and he took him back to Auschwitz, where like, the situation went down with his mother and, we saw the gate and everything. All Apocalypse did was like talk to him about it and gave him like pep talks. He didn't actually enhance him the way he like actually enhanced like Storm and Psylocke and Angel. Like, even with Angel, he didn't touch him, but like his eyes glowed and shit. And you can tell that he enhanced his powers and shit. And he like changed him, whatever. But like with Eric, there was no indication that he enhanced him. All it took was some pep talks, and he was able to move all of the metal in the earth and create like a magnetic field around the earth. I'm like, as badass as Magneto is, and I know he's powerful, like, I'm not saying that he should have been weak or anything, because he's not. He never is. I just feel like the magnitude of his powers made no sense to me. I'm like, how is he able to do all of this? He's like pulling metal from like all over the world, and he's creating a magnetic field that's threatening to like tear apart the world. I'm like, how? He didn't even enhance him. What is going on? Like, this is not making sense to me. One thing that did make sense to me, though, that I was so happy to see, it's like straight out of the comics, was the magnetic force field. I'm like, yes, bitch, finally, yes. I'm so tired of fucking the X-Men movies, like all the previous X-Men movies, and then like Wolverine and the X-Men basically was using his powers a lot like the X-Men movies, and that all he did was fly. And because his costume also has metal on it, so you could say that he's just manipulating the metal in his costume to like levitate. But like all he ever did was fly and move around metal objects. I'm like, it ain't just telekinesis with metal. That's not all it is. He can create force fields from like magnetic fields. He could create blasts of magnetic like pulses, like energy. Like, it's more than that. Like, read the comics, people. Magnetic manipulation is way more than just moving around metal objects. Like, he can do so much more. So much more. Oh my god. I was so happy to see the magnetic force field in this movie. I'm like, yes, finally. Yes. So happy. Straight out of the comics. Even in the very first issue of the X-Men, when the X-Men faced Magneto, he had his force field. Like, that was the shit. I'm like, yes. Yes. I was for it. Okay. And now we have Quicksilver. Let's see. Let me turn the speaker off because it's dying. I was listening to some music earlier. All right, so Quicksilver, once again, he stole the show. He shined once again. I was really happy for it. I was here for it. I love Evan Peters. I've been watching him since American Horror Story, and he, no matter what he's playing, he slays because he can act. He's cute. He's nice to look at. And I am definitely down for this version of Quicksilver. He was really funny. He's interesting. He's engaging. He makes you want to see him and follow his story and everything like that. He had another great action sequence, another wonderful action sequence, one of the best action sequences of the movie, where everything kind of just stopped and he was like moving and he saved everyone in the explosion. That was really cool. Yet, kind of on the flip side of that, in the same situation, he's really OP. Like, how the hell? I'm just thinking about it, like, especially in the end when we figure out he's going to be like a part of the X-Men, he's like on the team. I'm like, how the hell is he going to work on this team when all he has to do is just run around and take everybody out? It's never going to be a fair fight. No one's ever going to be able to do anything because he's going to be able to take everybody out unless they consistently face people on Apocalypse's level, which they won't. I just don't get. I don't know. I feel like he's like really OP. Another thing too. How old is he? Just like with Alex, how old is he? In the last movie, he was probably a teenager, but it's been like 10 years since then. I'm like, what is he, like 28? Like, what? And he's still in the basement. He's still wearing like the same type of clothes, the same situation. Like, what is going on there? I like that the movie lampshaded that when he was like, oh, like everything's changed for me too. Wait, no, I still live in my mom's basement. I'm the loser. So cute. I really enjoyed that. But I was still like, oh, you have all that power. You can do all that and you still choose to do that. You can't even like rob some banks or some shit and get your mom into a nicer house or some shit. Anyway, another one too. His family. So we know that Magneto is his father. This movie definitely confirms it. Who the fuck is his mother? Because Magneto's wife, the mother of Nina, who he meets obviously, because the child is young, he met her after, obviously that happened after Peter's mother. But who is Peter's mother? What's her name? Who is she? I want to know. Like, I always look at these movies, looking at every character. I'm like, okay, so who is this? Like, who is this? Like, say their name. Say their name. That's why I was like, when they said Nina, I'm like, Nina? Nina? Do they mean Anya? Like, what's actually going on? What? No, I don't know. Maybe she's just a human that he just hooked up with and Peter happened? I don't know. And then his little sister. Some people have like guessed, oh, she might be Scarlet Witch because she's wearing like the pink dress and she's a sister and she has like brown hair, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't think so, because usually Wanda's his twin, which we all know, but this could be different. Maybe it actually is Wanda. It still could be her. But, I don't know. Some people think it might be Lorna, aka Polaris, the green-haired mutant, because, she's usually portrayed as being younger than Wanda and Pietro. And, she, in the comics is known to have, like, dyed her hair, her naturally green hair brown to, like, blend into humanity. But then once she like comes out with like her powers and everything like that, she lets her hair be green. So that could be the case here. Maybe her mom dyes her hair to make her blend in. But my thing is that it's kind of implied that Magneto and like Peter's mom was like a one-time thing, or like it happened like a long time ago. I just don't see that he hooked up with her like a long time ago before Peter was born and then like came back around the time the little girl was born so that they can have another child. I feel like that girl is like someone else's daughter. Like, I don't know. Like, it could be. But then again, it could be Wanda. It could be Lorna. It could be anybody. It could just be some girl. Like, I don't know. But we know that it's his sister. We know that it's the mother's daughter. That's all we know. But we don't have a lot of facts. I feel like the movies need to like bring in some more facts and like give us some more information. Especially since Quicksilver is so awesome and we all love him and we all want to know more about him. I think that it was a very big missed opportunity for him not to reveal to Magneto that that was his father. In a situation where that was a horseman of apocalypse, he's basically destroying the world. This is not the time to be holding anything back. This could have been a situation where you could have this could have been a situation where if you would have revealed to him that you're his father, like this could have saved the world. Like who would have even guessed or whatever? Who could even say for sure that he would have turned on Apocalypse at all? Like he could have just stayed on his side and could have proceeded to destroy the world. Like that could have been like one of the only things to like get him out of it for all he and like Raven knew. So he should have said it. Like I feel like he should have told him. Maybe Eric would have been in denial about it. Maybe he wouldn't have believed him. Maybe he would have even low-key attacked him a little bit. But it still would have been interesting. It also would have made like Apocalypse like wrecking his shit, like wrecking Peter, you know, breaking his legs and shit, all the more like powerful when Magneto turns on him, because it would have given him more of a motivation to turn against him and to protect his son, because he lost the rest of his family. Now he has more family. Like that would have been even more motivation, especially given what happened with his family. Let's see. Also, I don't like the name Peter. I don't. I'm sorry. I know he's American. I know he's not exactly the same as like Pietro Maximoff. Like I know that it's not the same. His last name is still Maximoff, but I know his name is like Peter here. I don't like it. Why? Because Peter is Colossus's name. It's not his actual name, it's his Americanized name, but no one ever calls him Piotr. It's Peter. They call him Peter Rasputin. Like even like Shadowcat, his long-standing like girlfriend and like love interest, calls him Peter. Why are we doing this? I know Colossus was in Deadpool and maybe he'll like return there. I don't know if he's even going to be in the X-Men movies anymore, even though he's still a part of the team. I don't know. I feel like Wanda could still show up. As, you know, the twin sister Wanda, Scarlet Witch, like being his twin. It's possible that they could do what they did in X-Men Evolution, and that like she's not around at first, but then later on we see that like she was like locked away or something because she couldn't control her powers, and they thought she was like crazy. I would love for that to happen here because X-Men Evolution Wanda was awesome. I loved her powers, how everything like went haywire, and she was like doing the bad luck, and like Mutant's powers were like backfiring and shit. Like that was awesome. I would love to see that in like the live action movies. That would be the shit. Oh my god, I would love that. Yeah. So that's my thoughts on Professor X, Moira, Magneto, and Quicksilver. So stay tuned for more. Next, I will be discussing Beast and Cyclops.